everybody, welcome to Tuesday Night Life Coach. And what I try to do here is take a question and that you might have and try to approach it as if there's more to it than just a question, because there's never more to it than just a question. Let me give you an example. Today's question is this: I've just been diagnosed with a fatal disease. How do I readjust my thinking? It's hard to just answer that right straight out, because first of all, I don't know what the fatal disease is. I don't know what stage it is. There's certain diseases that they are in the process of curing. If it was multiple myeloma, I would say that your chances of getting cured are very high, because that's what I experienced. But so I would have to know what type of disease you have, or why the doctor says that it's fatal. How many diagnoses have you had? Did you just hear this? Is this something you've been dealing with for a long time? Is this something you feel that's deteriorating from you currently? How to readjust your thinking. So a lot of those things play into that decision. I'd want to know about your family situation, who's supporting you, who's not supporting you, who's willing to call you and talk to you and encourage you, who you feel forgotten by, who do you wish would be calling you. That has a lot to do with how you think, because you have to have a reason to kind of fight through it. So I'm just going to take a stab and fill in all the gaps, because that's the only way I can approach something like this. And if you do have a fatal disease, I sure would like to help you and life coach you through this, because I've been through this. I've had multiple myeloma cancer, and the first thing the doctor told me that it was incurable. And when a doctor tells you it's incurable, you know it's all the life gets sucked out of you, because you feel hopeless. And of course they use the word cancer, and then you know, because you've heard that word so many times and it's so associated with somebody dying, that you feel even worse. You don't know what to think, you don't know who to call, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know if you should get mad at God or start preparing to meet him. You don't know. There's just, your mind's in a whirl. So in order for me to help answer this particular question and to help coach you through that, I'd have to know more about what your surroundings are and where you're at. Are you currently in the hospital? How long have you been in there? How much chemo have you gone through? What if it's chemo or radiation, or are they trying to shrink a tumor so that you could have an operation? You know, there's so many different elements of it, and I could figure it out if I just knew. But I'm just going to deal with this as a generality. So let's just assume that you've been diagnosed with cancer, okay? And let's just assume that this fatal disease has a time limit on it. Usually they say 3 to 5 years. Sometimes they say shorter than that. And they say also 3 to 5 years with treatment, which means a year of that treatment is going to be in and out of chemo, which means you're going to be sick, and then they let you go and go through this chemo and your hair falls out, and then just as it's starting to grow back in again, you start to look like your old self, then you got to go through another shot of chemo. And so it's three to 5 hard years if you make it 5. So it's usually 2 to 3, but you don't know how aggressive it is. So let's just assume it's that 3 to 5 year window. Let's assume you have at least a year of chemo to go through, and you want to know how you should be thinking. Well, here's the thing about thinking. Whatever thoughts you put into this, that thought is going to require energy. If it's a thought of regret, it pulls energy out of you, because you're thinking about it and you're mulling over things and you're rehashing things in your mind, and you're trying to figure out, how did I do this to myself? Did I eat this too much of that? Did I subject myself to asbestos or something? I mean, you start to think all the things. Regret takes energy. Anger takes energy. You start to get mad at God because I don't deserve this. I've done this. I've lived this way, and that way. And I shouldn't be having to go through this, God. I prayed against this, and you promised me in your word that, by your stripes we have been healed, and you shall have whatever you ask for if you ask in my name, wherever two or more of you. I mean, you start to go through all that stuff. But all that thinking takes energy. And that energy is what you need to fight this thing off of you. So since all facets of contemplation require energy, I would suggest choose the mode of thinking that's going to require energy anyway, that will be the most helpful for you. Because all of it requires just as much, and when it's a negative energy, it requires even more. Your body reacts to the way you think. As Jesus says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if this is how you're thinking, you are going to have an automatic check against you, because your body has produced another weakness to fight off this disease. And if your immune system is already compromised, you need to reverse that. Now, I can only tell you kind of what I did. I knew, I'm a musician. I'm a creative person, so creative people have a tendency to be very moody. Oh, you didn't know that, right? We have a tendency to be, really up or really down, because we create from those emotions. That's what we put in our songs. We put in our songs that make you go really, really up, or songs that make you really, really think, or songs that make you cry. And so we have all these emotions. We're able to put them into a song, or into acting, or into theater, and do all that. So because I'm a musician, I knew that if my mind starts going in one particular direction, it can always create the worst or the best case scenario. Okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, so when I wrote the song Champion, the first part of the song is the worst case scenario. The devil's there, he's beating up everybody, he's threatening everybody, he's a threat to life, and then he confronts Jesus, and he hits him and he knocks him down. So it's my imagination giving the worst case scenario. The next half of the song is my imagination doing the best case scenario. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, he has won. Now we're into the best case scenario. So in the course of one song, my mind went to the best case and the worst case scenarios. In life, we'll do the same thing. You can have the best case scenario in your mind, and it will actually play out in your body, because you need the strength. So if I could advise you for anything, if I could encourage you for anything, is to adjust your mind to saying, this is what I have to go through. Forget why it happened. Forget that it happened. Forget that it's here. It's just you have to deal with this now. Now you have to fight it. There's no way around it. So I decided that if I started to think too negative about it, if I started to get depressed over this, I would go way down, all the way to the bottom, and just get as depressed as you possibly could be. How much more depressed can you get than if a doctor tells you you're dying and you have incurable cancer? It doesn't get worse than that, So I couldn't go there. I had to adjust my thinking, and I had to really start to think something positive. The one thing I did is that I knew I'd be in a hospital or in constant treatment, because I had to move there to the hospital, to where it was, and I had to get an apartment, and it was there 2-3 times a day. I started to say, okay, well, it's 9 months, can't do anything about it. I'm not going to be traveling anywhere, so this is a 9-month vacation. I'm going to look at it as a 9-month vacation. I don't have to get up and go to work. I don't have to be on a plane. I don't have any time clocks. I don't have any rehearsals. I don't have any sound checks. I don't have to set up product. I don't have to think about any messages. I don't have to worry about, airlines or taxis or rides or schedules. I don't have to think about anything. It is a vacation. It's not one I would have chosen, but it's mine. So I had to view it as a vacation. You'll have to adjust your mind to such a way to accommodate this situation so that the best of you comes out. And I got a TV and I put it at the end of the bed because I knew I was going to spend a lot of time in the bed. So I invested in getting the TV that I wanted, and it was high def, so I could watch my shows. And I just started to adjust to the fact that this was going to be my life. When you have negative thinking is a choice. It's not forced on you. It's not insisted upon you. It all comes from the same source in here. Negative thinking and positive thinking both come from the same source. Just like if you're reaching in a refrigerator, you can choose a piece of cake or you can choose an apple. You're going to have to make that choice, which one you're going to choose. If you choose a negative thinking, that's your choice. It's not forced on you. You can have all negative or all the reasons to pick negative. But you can have just as many reasons to think positive too. And if you can't think of anything positive, hey, think about me. I was told I was going to die. I was told it was incurable. I was told I had this long to live, and I'm here. 4 years later, the doctors tell me they're gonna list me as cured in another month. So it doesn't happen to everybody, but all it has to do is happen to one guy, and now it's possible. One guy escaped from Alcatraz. After that, it was no longer inescapable. They shut it down. All you have to do is have one person do what says can't be done. And then everybody can do it. So you must choose what you want to think, and you must get a game plan and reinterpret this time that you have, because it's out of your control. And just deal with the fact that it's out of your control. And I think you're going to do it. You'll do okay. I wish I would know exactly what it is. If I knew exactly what it was, if we were talking and we had a session together, I really, really could help you through this, especially something like this, because I've been through it.